So, hello all, Nanddeep here. Firstly, thank you very much for having me here to showcase our sample on Microsoft Viva connection adaptive card exploring Microsoft 365 group. So this sample shows how to build an adaptive card extension, which is S, with a card view and multiple quick views to display the Microsoft 365 unified groups in the tenant, of which the currently logged in user is a owner or member. And then we will see what are the benefits of this a bit later. So quickly, like myself, Nanddeep Nachan, I'm Microsoft MVP for Office Apps and Services. I'm based in Pune, India, and I have been mostly working with SharePoint and Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Azure. And I'm privileged to have this sample developed along with Smita Nachan, who is also a Microsoft MVP for Office development and working with SharePoint for many years now. And here are our social media handlers to get in touch with us for any later discussions. So summary of this particular solution. So this sample shows how to build the adaptive card extension with the card view and multiple quick views to display Microsoft 365 unified groups in a tenant, of which the current logged in user is a owner or a member. And the concept behind this sample is concentrated around Microsoft 365 groups, because once you are in a group, you can be benefited from group connected services such as SharePoint, Microsoft Teams, Yammer, and Planner. A bit of history behind developing this ACE sample is that our organization is on journey to Microsoft 365 adoption, and we are rolling out various services to our users. And we have a mixed set of users in our organization along with IT. We also have users from non-IT departments like shipping and packaging. And like information workers working from office, we also have frontline workers using mobile experiences as they do not have access to the machine all the time. So there are two reasons behind implementing this solution. Firstly, that to support the needs of information worker as well as the frontline workers, we were looking out to implement cards on Viva connections dashboard so that we'll be able to handle both. And secondly, that as we are on the journey to Microsoft 365 adoption, we want to promote the Microsoft 365 apps and services to our users. We do not want them to restrict the creation of SharePoint sites, Microsoft Teams, Planner, or Yammer communities. We want them to explore them by creating what they want. However, there are again downsides to this thinking too, because as we do not want them to restrict the users from using group connected services, we also want to have some kind of an control over it by implementing Microsoft 365 group expiration policy. And with the increasing usage of Microsoft 365 groups and Microsoft Teams, the group expiration policy provides a kind of a way to clean up the unused groups and teams that we have. So Microsoft Teams group expiration policy can help remove inactive groups from the system and make things very much cleaner. And because when a group expires, all of the associated services like the mailbox, planner, SharePoint site, or a team associated with that also gets deleted. But before doing all this exercise, no one remembers how many groups they belong to as a part of SharePoint site or Microsoft Teams they have created so far. Because since we are not restricting everyone get started, they start creating their teams, their SharePoint site, but no one remembers how many of them they have created. And then this S solution will provide a consolidated view to an individual to understand the Microsoft 365 unified groups in the tenant where they belong to as a owner or a member, so that they can take a better decision during the group expiration. Because until the email comes to you and you start analyzing which this group is about, you can take that decision by looking at this ACE solution. Another important thing to consider is from the content and the user experience point of view, because the excessive content gives rise to a content sprawling. So the content sprawl, that means a situation wherein excessive number of abundant or rarely used content in the form of Microsoft SharePoint sites or Microsoft Teams exist within the organization, and then it will surpass your original content. Even those kind of test content will start appearing into your search results. So for example, if you have a consolidated view, something like this edge solution that gives visibility into the content to individual on where they are contributing to, such as the excessive content, to avoid the content sprawl. So at least they can self-educate themselves and start removing the content which they don't want. So these are the driving factors behind creating this S solution. So quickly about this M365 groups is like this is the adaptive card extension component type in SharePoint Framework, which enables developers to build a rich experience for Viva connection dashboard as well as the pages. And when we decide to create a solution, we get a chance to create card view with basic card template, image card template, and then the primary card template. And each of these views will render differently and have the different constraint based on what data they can be provided in the template. So this solution is developed with a primary text template, and then the here are some kind of a major highlights of this S component, that it displays currently logged in users Microsoft 365 unified groups in the card view. And then we do have an action button on the card view to browse to the groups of which the user is owner or a member. Again, it has got a quick view to show the Microsoft 365 group details, and then buttons on it onto those quick view to take the user to the associated SharePoint site, or if it is connected with a Microsoft Teams. So this sample is developed with SharePoint Framework version 1.13.1 when it started supporting the S, and it is available to download and use under the Viva Connections adaptive card extension sample repository at this mentioned URL. So with that, let's have a quick demo of this sample, and then we will get into the code. So this is how the sample looks like. So this is the Viva connection dashboard that we have onto the SharePoint home site. And this is the ACE solution that we have developed. So this one is standing along with other kind of cards that can be placed onto the visual of a dashboard. So once we click on view my groups, it will show all of the groups. But before that, it will show all of the groups where you are a owner or at least a member. And then it will give the um, give like how many you are owned by and how many you are just contributing as a member. Once you click on those view my groups, it will give you the bifurcation of how many groups that you own, and then you will be able to view from here. And then again, how many groups you are a member of, and then you will be able to view it from here. So once you click on view, it will give us a basic information about that group, the description of the group, and then the visibility of that group, whether it is a public or a private group. And then, for example, if that group is connected with Microsoft SharePoint site, it will give you the option to open that SharePoint site like this way. At the same time, for example, if it is connected with Microsoft Teams, in that case, it will give you the option to open that in Microsoft Teams. So once you click on here, it will take you to the regular experience, and from here you'll be able to open up that team which is associated with that site. So the other thing that we are planning to do on this particular ACE solution is that we are going to add the group expiration date, so that when prior to group expiration policy triggers, we will be able to get the information about when this group is going to expire, and then what are the resources that I'm going to lose because of that. So let's say, for example, I can see that I do have SharePoint site as well as the Microsoft Teams team here. So if I lose access to, or if this group gets deleted, what am I going to lose? And then again, is it worth to go ahead for renewal of this group? So all those kind of decisions I will be able to view by this kind of an edge solution. Because what happens usually is that we do get the email from the Office 65 group expiration, and from there we have to remember, okay, if this was the group that I had created, and then what are the resources or what are the services which were associated with that group. Start digging into the information and try to see what kind of an group that we had created where it was associated with a SharePoint site with Microsoft Teams. So this kind of a consolidated view will give you those kind of an uh, fixed view, and then from there you will be able to take a very much good decisions whether you want to continue with that or no. Again, we are planning to add a renewal kind of things right from here, so that once you click on the button here, the group can be renewed from here as well by using the Graph API. So these are at least a couple of things that we have in a plan to do. But this is how as of now these groups look like. And let's say, for example, if even if I again get back into the SharePoint home side. This is how it will look when it will get added as a dashboard web part. And this is the experience that will be seen when this particular web part will added as a dashboard onto the Viva connection. So this one will be available as a card. Mostly can be seen better with the large view kind of an large view kind of an setting onto the card. But again, even it can be seen onto the medium kind of an card view. For example, if the number of groups that you belong to are very much lesser, but it doesn't happen much of the time. We are part of various groups, so prefer to go ahead with the large layout here. So again, here it is the same thing. Click on the view my groups. This is the Teams experience. Microsoft Viva Connections Teams experience. Again, once you click on view, this is the same experience that you get. So this was the quick demo how this works. With that, let's get into the code and see how the code looks like. So as I said, this particular sample has been developed with SPFX version 1.13.1, which you can see the reference in the package.json file. Then again, we do have few of the considerations from the permission configuration. So we need a few set of permissions configured in the file, which can be found under the config folder package solution.json. And then we need to have certain web API permission request specified here. So either you can specify group.read.all permission to read group properties and membership, or you can specify directory.read.all to read the data in your organization's directory such as user and groups. And again, you will need user.read.all to read the user profiles information. So these are the three, or at least these two combination of group.read, directory.read, and user.read will be needed to run this as sample. Then again, we do have a service created under the services folder. So this service will help you to get the group related information. So this service has got two major methods implemented inside it. So first one is the get my member groups, which will return the groups of which the current logged in user is a member of. So this is a simple plain graph API call, which will help you to get all of the groups where you are a member. Second thing, or the second method that we have here is get my owner groups, which is again simply return you the groups where the currently logged in user is the owner of. And just one thing here is that we will still have to use this owned objects kind of an API from the graph, because we don't have directly my owned group kind of a thing here. So, or a member of or owner of kind of a thing available here. So we will still have to use owned object. And once we get that, at least we will have the entire information about the groups where you are a member of and a group where you are a owner of. And we can use that information in our Edge class. So we have this Edge class here, which is this file that contains the definition of Edge, which extend from the base adaptive card extension class. And then we have a major method here called as onInit that will populate the state with the group information where the current user is a member or owner. So all of the views, card views, as well as the quick views are registered in this onInit. And then simply we set up the context to call all of the services which we have developed in the group service, which is the service. And then all of the data about owners as well as the member groups can be retrieved from here, and then it can be set into the state, which will be later used into a card view, which is implemented at this point. So this card view will display the group summary, and again, it will have a button to open a quick view. So this one will give you the list of all of the groups that we have, and then a list of the groups where you are a member and a owner. And then there will be a button to go to that members group or to the owners group. And once we click that button, there will be another view, which will be a quick view that will be seen to us. So this quick view it displays the groups count by the owner groups as well as the member groups. So again, this one is supported by the template, which is this group summary view template.json. And then this JSON will render all of the groups that we have. And then again, there will be a link next to each of the group to get into the more details of that group, which is our group listing view. So for example, if I just open up that view again, so it is the quick view available which display the groups based on the selection from the group summary view, which we have seen previously. So example, we can click on the owner group that we want to see or member groups that we want to see based on the selection that we have done onto our previous quick view. This view will take the action and then it will show the information about that particular groups where we are owner or where we are members. So it can detect these detect from state that which group type we had selected, whether it was a owner group or a member group, and from there it can go ahead and do the more processing. And dynamically here in the on action, it will make a call to the service again just to see that whether that particular group has been associated with any of the SharePoint side or if that group has been associated with any of the Microsoft Teams team. If so, then even that icon will be rendered there and there will be a link, and on click of that link it will take you to that concerned SharePoint site as well, or maybe to the related Microsoft Teams team. And then again, we do have the template available for this as a JSON format. So from here, it will show the information, a basic information about that group, like the display name of that group, a description, the visibility that we have seen, whether it is a public or a private group, and then what kind of an action that we can take. So for example, if it is associated with SharePoint site, we will be able to see this option. Or for example, if it is associated with Teams, we'll be able to see this option. So this was basic about the code, like how this code has been developed. Coming to the deployment part, so this one is a pretty much straightforward deployment that we just have to prepare and deploy the solution package by running the commands like gulp bundle followed by the gulp package solution. And then we just need to deploy the generated package to the SharePoint tenant app catalog. But the major thing here is when it comes to the graph APIs. So after deploying the solution to the tenant app catalog, SharePoint administrator needs to approve the Graph API permissions from the SharePoint admin center by going to the advanced and then API access blade. So I just want to share a word of caution here because the API used here, which is group.read.all, is considered to be a risky permission level because it allows the app to read group properties and membership and read the calendar and conversation for all the groups. So definitely your organization's digital security team will not like it. They will raise the concern. So maybe consider something like directory.read.all that allows app to read data from your organization's directory, such as users, group, and apps without going into the membership or conversation kind of details. All right. So with that, here are the references, the code sample. And for example, if you want to see how this sample has been developed, here is my blog. With that, thank you very much. And thank you very much for giving the opportunity to present this.